A very
Is this
warm good evening to all of you. Welcome to the 174th session of Centa's webinar series for teachers. I hope all of you are keeping safe and staying healthy. The topic for today's webinar is multiple intelligence inspired classrooms, and the facilitator for this session is Miss Rajni Johari. A good evening to you, ma'am. A very warm welcome to you for this session. A brief introduction about our facilitator, Miss Rajini Johari. She is an educator with 32 years of experience, headed CBSE schools, been on the board's inspection panel, has been a teacher trainer since 2008, associated with the British Council since 2016, associated with the QCI since 2014, conducted school audits as a technical expert, written project-based books, reviewed textbooks for subject integration, qualified for CERT 4 in training and assessment at CIT Perth, Australia, upon nomination by CBSE, nominated by the British Council for the 2019 study tour to UK. Have written the teacher manual for English, Active Teach, the first digital textbook by Pearson. She has also been writing articles for various magazines and have been speaker on various panels. She has also won the Best Teacher Award 5 times from various organizations. Created modules on multiple intelligence for the teacher app. She believes the great ability develops and reveals itself increasingly through every new assignment. So never say a no. A very, very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Before I hand over the session to our facilitator, Ms. Rajni, I would like to inform all the teachers that they will receive participation certificates for the session. So please do fill out the feedback form that will be shared with you towards the end of the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, and good evening, all of you, for joining in the session. I will be talking today about multiple intelligence inspired classrooms. So I just hope I am able to do justice to the time that you will give to me. You all have heard of multiple intelligences, I'm sure. I need not, explain that to you. But I'll just like to start the session by asking you all a very simple question. Have you ever checked for the meaning of intelligence in the dictionary? You can write a yes or a no in the chat box. Have you ever checked for the meaning of intelligence in the dictionary? Okay, Sunil has written yes. Brunda, Lisha also has written yes. Oh, I see many people writing yes for checking the meaning of intelligence in the dictionary. Okay, so let me tell you, I never went in to check the meaning of intelligence in dictionary because I think as children from a very young age, what we get to hear is from our parents, from our surroundings, from the teacher in the classroom. Often we are told, either they'll call you a buddhu. When I say a buddhu means a person who is not intelligent, or they will say, oh, this child is very bright. So I think automatically you get to understand, the meaning of intelligence. Sri Vidya has written no, and I'm so happy someone has written no. Subramaniam also has written no. Okay, I can see now some names telling us they have not checked the meaning. Because I think there is so much happening in our environment that we understand the meaning of intelligence without anyone actually explaining it to us. So, I remember uh, a pregnant woman talking about the baby in the womb kicking too much. And then I heard the mother in law tell her that it looks like that the child will be very naughty. I heard one mother talk about the baby being very quiet, and the mother in law was worried. I hope the child is intelligent. So we keep hearing so much of this word all around us since the time we are born that I never actually went to the dictionary to check the meaning of intelligence. But let's understand Howard Gardner brought in multiple intelligences. So, what is his definition of intelligence? And believe me, If you just, focus on his definition and try to understand the people around you, you will see that, uh, I think you will make a lot of sense in everything that you see. So I'm going to read out this definition written by Howard Gardner, which says intelligence is the ability. It's a very important word, and that is why I've put it in capitals. It is the ability to do three things: one, to solve problems; to create products; to provide a service. And all these things, it has to be valued in one or more cultural setting. So if it is not valued, it is not considered to be intelligence. Okay. So now look at the world around you. How many times do we end up solving problems? Maybe there is an electrical problem and I may not be able to solve that problem, but maybe there is a maid problem at home and I'm able to solve that problem. There's a cooking problem at home, I'm able to solve that problem. Maybe there is, a problem where I need to make some last minute arrangements, I'm able to do that. So it clearly shows that, I'm able to not solve all problems, but I'm able to solve some problems. Create products. I want all of you to give me examples of, do you remember creating any product? If you do, give me some examples in the chat box. Yeah, I'm waiting to hear. If you feel that you create products, then give me examples. Weaving, very good. That's such a beautiful example. It's a beautiful product, weaving. Okay, some more. Baking a cake, beautiful, Meera. Very nice. Natural ice creams, stitching, great. Knitting, making cards, cooking, okay. Delicious dishes, okay. Weaving with newspaper, artwork, craft work. Great. So you all know that we all create products. In fact, if you look at yourself, even the way we dress up, don't you think that's a product that we have created? So we women, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we decide, okay, I'm wearing this color sari. What jewelry will look nice, or what type of makeup will go with this sari? So that's a product that we create. Children, when they, submit their notebook, that is also a product that they have created. Their own handwriting is a product. They have created a product. The artwork that they present is a product. The way they organize their bag, that is also a product. The way they decorate their room, that is also a product. Okay, let's talk about providing service. Do you think we provide any service? If you do, just give me some examples. Worksheets is a product. Yes, now we've gone to providing a service. Can you give me some examples of providing a service? Created observation sheet to observe teachers' classroom teaching. Yes, that is a product. Providing a service. Someone has written teaching. What a noble profession that we are in. Teaching is a big service that we are providing to the society. Teaching, yes, and making projects. Is that a service? Helping mom. Wonderful. I clap for you. Helping mom is something so important. It is a service. Tutoring, it's a service. Helping at old age home, it's a service. Counseling, it's a service. So yes, that we all know that we all are providing different type of services. Someone said banking, catering, these are all services. But even let us as teachers not forget, when a child carries a red pen for you in the classroom, that's a service that the child has provided. When the child distributes the notebooks that you have brought to the class, that's a service that the child has provided. When the child erases the blackboard or the whiteboard for us, that's a service. And the service that we provide, we reach school on time, we make sure that we reach school on time, we go to the class in on time. So that's a huge service that we are providing. What if we all decided to come late? How would we run the school? So everything that you do at home, when you serve food, your family is able to sleep on time, go to work on time, because there is someone to do that work at home. That's a huge service that someone is providing. Either you are providing or some other member of the family is providing, but it's a service. So now if you look at the whole, at the definition, you will understand that it covers, in fact, everything that happens on this planet. So, intelligence is the ability to solve problems, create products, and provide a service, but it needs to be valued. Now, suppose I tell you that there is a person who works for my house, who does the mopping, but at the same time, one fine day robs you of your belongings. Do you think that's a service that that person has provided? It is a service, was mopping and also has robbed you, has taken away your things. But do you value such a service? No, we don't value such a service. So we have to remember, anything that will cause damage to mankind is not a sign of intelligence. So you see these countries fighting now, so much of loss to mankind. People are not behaving intelligently, they should have shown their intelligence, but they are not. So anything that causes harm to mankind, if my words cause harm to you, I'm not an intelligent person. You must have seen many people who will make mockery of others, and then they will say, oh, I was just joking. No, but if I have hurt your sentiment, you are not valuing it, so that action of mine will not be termed as an intelligent action. So now just keep this definition in mind and see the world with this definition in mind, and you will, all of a sudden you will find that something within you has changed. Your attitude towards people, your behavior towards people, the way you talk, the way you see them, you'll find that all of a sudden, there are many things that you will ask questions before doing. So please remember this definition. I think it is the most beautiful definition of intelligence that I've ever read. It is the ability to solve problems, create products, provide a service that is valued in one or more cultural setting. Okay. Now we all know that there are 8 types of intelligence. So because there are many sessions people have conducted on multiple intelligences, so I am sure all of you know that there are 8 types of intelligence. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a trick to remember all these 8 intelligences. Okay, so kindly pay attention and look at the acronym that I have created. If you look to the left, I have written MINSKILL. Now just look at the first 2 letters, M and I, multiple intelligence. The abbreviation is MI. Multiple intelligence abbreviation is MI. And what is multiple intelligence talking about? It talks about skills. So how do I bring multiple intelligence and skill together? So if I write MI, multiple intelligence, and the SMS language for and is N, the letter N. MI and skill. So if you are able to remember MI and skill, you will never ever forget the 8 intelligences that Howard Gardner talks about. So now let's look at the letter M. M stands for musical. I stands for interpersonal. N stands for naturalistic. S stands for spatial. K stands for kinesthetic. I stands for intrapersonal. And L stands for linguistic. And the last L stands for logical and mathematical. I will just spend a minute to explain these eight intelligences to you. So when I say musical, you all know we all sing songs, we all love listening to songs, some people can compose. So all that comes under musical intelligence. So music smart, they are called musical. Interpersonal are people smart. So when I say interpersonal, they are people smart. They know how to deal with people around them. They can manage crowds. They can talk to, they can just become very good friends to all the people around them. They are interpersonal. They are people friendly people, people friendly, naturalistic, nature, anything to do with nature. So when we talk about nature, you understand nature only when you observe nature. So I remember in our old days, my grandmother, she would only look at the shadow of the sun and then tell me, "Oh, it is about to be 4." So great, no? Wonderful, because her observations were great. So a person who is good with observation is naturalistic. So some people observe nature, and in nature there are some people who observe human being. So all the counselors, they all come under naturalistic intelligence. Now I talk about spatial. When I say spatial, it has got something to do with space. So person who knows how to use the space. So space can be your cupboard, how to organize it, your table, how to organize it, your room, how to organize it, your maybe the entire school that you are running, how to organize the school. It could be your colony, how to organize that. It could be how to organize your own life. Spatial, how to use space. So people use makeup, they know how to use the space that this face is providing. There are interior decorators, there are tailors who know how to use the cloth that is provided to them. So that is, that use of space is a special type of intelligence which we have to understand. So space friendly people are called to said to have spatial intelligence. Now when we talk about kinesthetic, they are body smart people. They know how to use their body. All the models, all the dancers, all the sports people, they all know how to use their body. Mime, it's not a single word spoken, and they are able to actually emote so much. So what are they doing? They are doing it through their body. All the dancers, you look at theater people, all the theater people, so they are all said to have kinesthetic intelligence. When I come to intrapersonal, intrapersonal people are people who are self smart. They know more about themselves. They may know very little about the people around them, but they know how to manage themselves very well. So they are intrapersonal, people who are shy, who are introvert. We think that, that's a complex that they have. It's a type of intelligence as per Howard Gardner. Then we talk about linguistic, anyone who's good with languages. So I have a friend whose daughter during COVID time watching Korean movies has learned that language. So she has that linguistic intelligence. Then we talk about logical and mathematical. So when we talk about logical and mathematical, logical is something, reasoning. Mathematical is with numbers, good at calculations. So there was a time when, according to Harvard Gardner, the brain had only one, it was one part which was logical and mathematical, which was logical mathematical. But over the years, people, while they are teaching mathematics or when they are teaching science, what they have done is they have stopped teaching it logically. So now they say that in the brain, we have neurons which are split into logical and mathematical. So when I had taken my test for multiple intelligence, I remember that my the person who conducted the test told me, my coach, that you're very high on logical, but you're very low on mathematical. Had you found a good maths teacher, you would have been good in both, because those who are logical are said to be very good with mathematics. So, teachers, if there are teachers over here teaching mathematics or science, so whenever you teach mathematics and science, please talk about the logic behind what we are doing so that children understand it better and they are not just memorizing it. People are scared of mathematics, science because they don't understand it. So, please, as teachers, do remember that when you are teaching mathematics and science, do talk about the logic. So, MIN skill, I hope you will remember forever that there are 8 intelligences, and you will always remember MIN skill stands for all the 8 intelligences. I hope this helps you. I go to my next slide. Do you think now, if I ask you this question, are we intelligent? Will some of you still doubt your intelligence? Tell me a yes or a no. Are you intelligent? You write yes. Yes. You will not doubt yourself now because you know you may. Oh, Sona Singh says no. Why? I wonder. All of us are born intelligent. Please believe in this. It is only that our circumstances at times pushes us a little low on certain things. But that does not make you dumb. Remember that. We all are intelligent, and the day you decide that you want to work in this area, believe it, the body, the neurons are so beautifully wired that they will pick up. They may take some time, but they will pick up. So do not doubt your intelligence. That's my first thing that I want to tell all the teachers here. And also, when you go to the classroom, never ever doubt the intelligence of your children. They are all born intelligent, and to for them to remain intelligent, the key lies in your hand. The way you will treat them, the way you will teach them, that will decide, whether they remain high on intelligence or they go low on intelligence. So the very first teachers actually are the parents. So it starts from there. Sometimes the parents spoil it all. Sometimes the teachers in school spoil it all. We need to understand our role, both as parents and as teachers, that all our children are born intelligent. And if ever they actually turn out to be dumb, the credit will go only to us and not to any other person. So go to your class with a very, very open mind that you know that you're dealing with intelligent students. Do we have all the 8 intelligence? That is my next question. Do we have all the 8 intelligences? Actually, when we are born, we have all the 8 intelligences. It's only, with time as we keep growing, we start doing certain things more and we stop doing certain things. So that decides out of the 8, when you stop doing, that means that intelligence is actually lying dormant. It's not dead, it's just lying dormant. And the minute you will start working on those intelligences, you will realize that you're from low, you have gone to high. Okay, so we have all the 8 intelligences. It's only how we take care of it that will decide whether we remain high or low. So, if you read this, it very clearly states you nurture it and strengthen it. You ignore it, you weaken it. If you agree to this, give me a thumbs up on the chat box. You nurture it, you strengthen it. You ignore it, you weaken it. So, if today, as a child, you are trying to recall that you were very good at dancing, great, I can see thumbs up coming. Yes. Sona Singh, thank you so much. Uma, thank you. Yes. So you all agree. You all agree that if we nurture it, we will strengthen it. And remember, teachers, we are responsible for it. Let's nurture our children and strengthen their intelligence. Don't ignore it. And before we go to the children, I also want you all to understand one thing. Don't ignore the intelligence that you are born with. Most of us by this age, I think we have stopped doing many things that we used to do when we were younger. So I would say don't ignore yourself. Go back to what you have really enjoyed and work on it. and that will make your life also sweeter. You will enjoy it because that's something that you had and you have stopped doing it. So today, spend some time on recalling what are the things that you were doing, but now you have stopped doing it. You have ignored it totally, and now it is lying. It's like you feel, oh, you're very weak in that area. I used to be a very good cartoonist. I stopped drawing cartoons and I used to feel bad, So I used to make stories to my children. Oh, my classrooms used to be beautiful. The boards used to be beautiful. But now, after becoming the school head, I'm not finding time to do all these things. So who stopped me from doing? If I loved doing it, I should have continued doing it, which I didn't do. So what did I do? I ignored it. And when you ignore something, it will definitely weaken. So, as teachers, from today, for ourselves, let's look at areas which we have ignored and let's work on them so that we strengthen them. That is something that I want all of you to do after the session. Okay, so I have spoken about, I would want all of you to understand how to make your classroom multiple intelligence inspired. So, the very first thing that we all must know to do is, the lesson plans. We should know how to make our lesson plans. So, before we start with our lesson plans, it's very important that we understand our intelligence. As I told you, don't ignore your intelligence. Look at your intelligence. Look at your own intelligence and rate yourself. Out of 10, musical intelligence. Okay, I will rate myself as 2. But yes, I used to be 4. Can I come back to 4? Interpersonal. Oh, I used to be a very friendly person to everyone. Over the years, I've started staying at home only, stopped going out. I used to be 8 on 10, and now I'm 4 on 10. Can I go back to 8? This is something that you have to ask yourself. Spend some time on rating yourself on your own intelligence. And remember the 8 intelligences, the acronym MIN skill. So, all 8 intelligence, just rate yourself today. As teachers, as parents, I would say our children, when they are young, they give us signals of intelligence. We only have to be observant to catch those signals. So, if you are able to catch the signals that your students are giving in the classroom or at home, you will be able to plan your lesson plan accordingly. And let me tell you, a lot of damage is caused when we don't pay attention to the signals that the children give. I'll be talking about it now. So, we think, okay, if we just ignore this, the child will learn from somewhere else. But the minute you ignore the intelligence, the signal that the child is giving, you will find that it has a impact on the child, and that is very damaging. I will be talking about it. So, and the last one, when we are planning our lesson plan, we have to plan as per the learner's need. See, we have grown up, we understand ourselves, but the child in the class is still growing up. As per his need, we need to plan the lesson plan and not as per our need. It's not for us. We want our children to learn. So the focus has to be on the learner. Okay. What I want you to ponder, what are the things which you did when you were 5 to 8 years old? Can you write in the chat box? What are the things that you did when you were 5 to 8 years old? In the chat box. Played. Do you play now? Alfia, if you could answer that for me. You played. Do you play now? I'm waiting for Alfia because she was the first one to write played. Yeah, I can see many of you say dancing, singing. You used to have great thoughts. Alfia says sometimes she plays. Okay. Art. Someone has written art. Uma writes art. Yeah. So, we've stopped played with toys. We've stopped doing all that. So I would say, see what you really miss out of the things that you did. Sandcastles. Yeah. So if you're missing those things, if you're making of sandcastles, does not mean you go and make sandcastles again. It is only a signal that the child is spatially intelligent. That means the child can do wonders in that area. So go back to check what you ignored and what you can do now to be high on that intelligence. Okay. When did you stop indulging in these activities and why? So many of you wrote dancing, singing, sandcastles, drawing, art. When did you stop indulging in these activities and why? I'm waiting for someone to write now. When did you stop? Acting. Very nice. So when did you stop acting? Jalpa. Scribbling on walls showed that the child was spatially intelligent. Seeing children reminds me of my days. Puja, very nice. So, when did you stop doing all the good things that you were doing? Can I find some answers here on the chat box? When I got married, and that is such a sad story. Many of us, the minute we start working, yes, love, work life balance, so very important. So very important. Yes. So many, lives change after they get married, after they pick up a job. Or someone just wrote, not stopped. Hema Malini. Okay, that's so nice to hear someone saying that I have not stopped. Someone has written, once I became a teen. Okay, so again, now do you see that there is a change? What we were doing when we were young was different, and what we are doing now, it is different. So when you get busier in life and you stop looking at these small things that kept you happy. So today, on a scale of 10, all the 8 intelligences, please make a chart for yourself. That will help you. Okay. Now, which activities keep you engaged now? I'm sure it is as per the work, the job that you, Shweta Singh writes job. Yes. And I want now you all to answer that when you are making your lesson plan, which intelligence do you think you're using the most? Yes. When I become mother, I restarted. That's so very beautiful, Uma. Very nice. Story listening, such a beautiful thing. Okay, now I want you to answer this question. In your lesson plan, which intelligence out of the 8 do you think is used the most? Can some of you please start writing that on the chat box? Which intelligence do you often use while preparing your lesson plan? Music. If you're using music, that's amazing. Linguistic, correct. Recitation, which is poetry singing. Art integration. Naturalistic and visual. Now, concept based, what type of intelligence is that? You have to check. Bodily kinesthetic, that means you're bringing theater. Logical, intrapersonal, intelligence in your lesson plan. Okay. So I can see many of you logical thinking, linguistic, kinesthetic. So if you look at most of the activities, they are all linguistic. Most of the activities that we do in the classroom are linguistic. Thank you so much for the lovely participation, and I'm so touched by all the responses that you all are giving. Thank you so much. Okay, before I go there, I want all of you to think of, classroom commotions. I'm sharing a slide with you, and if you agree to these commotions, how many of you have witnessed this in the class? Kindly listen to this very carefully, because this is going to be the learning now of the impact when we ignore intelligence. Okay, so the very first one is, in your class, do you have children asking too many questions? Just write a yes or a no. So, my question is, we are talking about common commotions in class. Okay. Do you have children asking too many questions? I see a thumbs up. Yes, yes, yes. Wonderful. Asking meanings to the difficult words. Okay. Running around in the class. Okay. 100% agree to all. These are commotions in the classroom. Children running around in the class, playing drums on the desk or singing in the class, even whistling. Okay. Always talking, always talking, talking to the partner. And then the teacher has to keep asking, why are you talking so much in the class? Why are you not listening to me? This happens in every classroom. I'm sure every teacher has experienced this. Okay. Always wanting to come out and face the class to give instructions. I'm sure all of you have witnessed that also. There are children who want to run out of the class using abusive language, never answering, never answering. So there are children who will never answer. There are children who use abusive language. Now, I just want to highlight one thing over here. Any child who is linguistically smart or has interpersonal skills, who is people smart, when you do not let them do what they want, or if you are not able to convince them, you will find such children, they turn into, they turn into, they'll start fighting, they will start using abusive language. That's because they are high on linguistic and interpersonal intelligence. And when these two intelligences are suppressed, then these children remove their anger by using abusive language or by getting physical in the classroom. Okay. Children who want to run out of the class, children who want to distribute books, they have a lot of energy. They want to use that physical energy that they have in their body. And we as teachers keep telling them, just sit down, don't get out of your seat. And when something like this happens in the classroom, the signal that the brain is getting is that, oh, I can't get up from my seat, I cannot jump out from here, I cannot run. And that intelligence is getting suppressed. That child, you will find, while sitting on the chair, he will just put his leg out and feel very happy to see someone fall. So that is suppressed, when intelligence is suppressed. So as teachers, we should know how to manage these children in the class, how to use their energy so that they don't get physical in the classroom. You must have seen children collect very weird things. They'll, a dead insect, they will just keep it in the notebook. Sometimes leaves, they will keep in the notebook. Sometimes they'll just pick up something that was very different and they will like to show it. I remember I used to collect a lot of shells and I used to bring them home. My mother would throw them out saying that they stink and don't bring them home. So I stopped looking at shells because when I was very young, my mother gave me this signal that this is bad. As teachers, very often we are doing that. So watch out how we react to, what the children bring to us. So you may find someone collecting something very weird, but you can always look at his interest, her interest, and guide the child accordingly. I think that's something very, very important. Okay. Complimenting teachers for the clothes they wear or the looks. There are many children who will come and compliment, ma'am, your sari color is very nice. Or someone will say, your lipstick shade is very nice. Oh, ma'am, you look so pretty. It's a clear cut, signal that the child is spatially intelligent. Collecting weird things, signal is the child is naturalistic. He has that intelligence. Naturalistic intelligence is very high. Never letting others answer. So what happens? These are children who are very hyperactive in the class. And then they want to do it all. They will not let others do it. Now, if they are hyperactive, that is a psychological issue which needs treatment. So Hyperactive is different, but there are some children who will dominate, who will not let others do. If it is dominating and not letting other children do, it means he was either high on interpersonal intelligence, or he was high on linguistic intelligence or kinesthetic. And because we have suppressed it, he is now giving signals of dominance to us, which means he's not enjoying it. So he's learned it from us only. Running to the medical room. There are many children who will just make some excuse and run to the medical room. Why are they avoiding the class? There is something happening in the class which they are not liking. So we have to be watchful of that also. Not able to complete classwork. That can be a real major issue. We have to find out the reason why the child is not able to finish the work. Always carrying a red pen, ready to distribute notebooks. This is also, there are children who love to do that. This is a clear cut signal that they have leadership qualities. They are people smart. They are high on interpersonal intelligence. Drawing and scribbling on the last pages. If the drawing and scribbling is meaningful, that means the child is enjoying spatial intelligence. But if he is drawing, if he is scribbling and literally tearing the pages, and that full lines are not making any sense, it shows that the child has suppressed spatial intelligence, and we need to give him an exposure where he can just go and share his spatial intelligence. So anything that you see at the back of the book which is not meaningful, shows a lot of anger, it shows that spatial intelligence has been denied. Making stories. You will find children make such lovely stories. My daughter used to do that. And I would know she's lying. But that is a story for her. Lying is for us. As grown-ups, we look at it as lying. But for the child, imaginative. Is very, very imaginative, very creative, and wants to talk. So either the child is linguistically smart or is interpersonal. So we have to be very cautious in understanding. Destroying or damaging school property. Many children do that, and that is anger. Suppressed intelligences can lead to that anger. So as teachers, just be watchful why children do this. Watch the way you actually react to what the children are doing. That decides whether the child is feeling motivated or the child is feeling demotivated. Be very watchful. So how do I prepare a multiple intelligence inspired lesson plan? So whatever theme you take, draw these columns, boxes, and as per the topic that you're doing, think, can I put something musical in this for children? Can I do something which will highlight kinesthetic intelligence? Now every chapter you need not think of all the 8, not possible. So maybe you can take any 2 intelligence, decide accordingly, and make sure that everyone participates. You can plan your homework and classwork keeping these intelligences in mind. So maybe you want children to write answers to 5 questions. Now, not all are interested in writing those 5 questions. So maybe you can tell them, okay, tomorrow when you come, you can just read out. Just read out. You read the chapter, understand the answers. So when you come to the class, you will speak out the 5 answers, because the child is not interested in writing. Or I can say, okay, you record and you send it to me on my mobile. So the child is speaking out the answers and sending it to you. Or I can say, make a comic strip. Explain everything through a comic strip. That can be a homework. Write a play, write the script, and think of the characters that will enact. That can be linguistic also, and a mixture of kinesthetic also. So try and, as per the chapter, draw these boxes so that you can put your activities there. And then you can decide out of these which 2 you would like to use for classroom teaching, which 2 you would like to use for classwork or homework. So that way, in 9 months of teaching that we do, you will find that you are touching on every intelligence. Now, this has to be a very conscious effort. That's very important. Now, I'm giving you a few examples. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. Otherwise, on the net, you will find lots and lots of things on the net when you write multiple intelligence. But just some examples for you. Activities like reading, writing, debates, word games for linguistic, for logical and mathematical, experimenting, questioning, calculating, talking of experiences through science. Giving them an experiment and asking them what did they experience. They explain their observation. Spatial, designing, drawing, visualizing, constructing. So when I'm teaching poetry, I generally recite the poem and I tell my children to close their eyes and visualize the poetry. And then when I finish my recitation, ask them, what did you visualize? And then they talk about that visualization while I was reciting. Musical, singing, playing instruments, listening to music, composing. In kinesthetic, we have dancing, theater, sports, mime, movement of the body. In naturalist, classifying, exploring outdoors, collecting specimen from nature, observing. Very, very important. Remember that. Interpersonal, they would love to lead. So making them leaders, asking them to organize, telling them to go in for cooperative learning. They become the leaders and they make sure that the group learns. Intrapersonal, they daydream in the class. Let them daydream. Very important. But just go close to the child and ask, so what were you dreaming about? And you will realize that the child has something very interesting to share. Interpersonal, give them some work which they can do at their own pace. They will do it independently at their own pace. They don't like group work. They like being independent on their own. So I'll give you an example now. Just look at this. This is very interesting. Our teacher was in maths wanting to teach formula. She told the children, make a rap. Okay. Then in interpersonal, the teacher, intrapersonal, the mother, why does mom get angry? The teacher has asked the children to reflect and to write. Give reasons. Tell me why your mother gets angry with you. So this is intrapersonal, where the child has to understand himself and then write. In naturalistic, the activity was compare the two slides. Compare the two slides of onion and leaf peel and find out what is different and common. So you know what, generally in laboratories, what happened? Children go to see, the teacher is explaining, the children don't observe anything. Now what I do over here, I will put the peel, I will tell them, you observe and you write down what you have observed and then we talk about it. So what they are doing, there are two slides, they will compare how they are similar and how they are different. In spatial, construct a kitchen sink that helps in recycling water. Now, this is a project I ran in my school, and I got some beautiful models made by my children. So all of you can, start thinking that way. These are very journal topics. Kinesthetic, mop your room and write down your struggle and solutions. See, you have to mop your room and you tell us what are the problems that you faced. Then they will start respecting the lady who comes home or the male who comes home to do the cleaning of the house. Convince your friends to stop using plastic. This is interpersonal. If you're a leader, come on, come out, convince your friends to stop using plastic. Linguistic, trace back your actions. Sorry, it is logical. Trace back your actions that led you to this. So today you're doing very well in life. Okay, go trace back the things that you did very good, very well in life. So this means what you're doing, you're logically thinking about your action. And linguistic, convert prose into poetry or convert poetry into prose. A child who's very good with language, very good with words, will not find it difficult at all. Correct? Now, for example, I have now taken just one topic. Multiple intelligence, maths. I tell, make a rap on formula. In intrapersonal, explain the formula to yourself. Now, see, the Intrapersonal, the child who's, knows more about himself or herself, is explaining the formula to himself or herself. Naturalist, what's the pattern you observe in the formula? A naturalist is a good observer. So, what's the pattern you observe in the formula? These can be small activities taken up, for example, in your classroom if you're doing formulas. Spatial will say, okay, draw the formula. That means they have visualized something and they will draw the formula in such a way that they can learn it. Kinesthetic, who are bodily smart, you tell them, okay, come and enact the formula. Interpersonal, narrate a story around the formula. So they make a story around the formula and they narrate it. A logical person, what is the logic behind the formula? Come and explain. Linguistic, write a story around the formula. Now you see, this can be activity in the classroom where you can make 4 different groups. You can make sure that, I have in that 4 groups that I am putting children, at least there are 4 to 5 intelligences which come together, and they are able to do the classwork or the homework that's given to them. So I've just given you a small example taking formula as a topic, and I've shown you how you can use all your 8 intelligences in this lesson plan. Now it's time for all of you to pose your questions. I want to see how intelligent I am to answer your questions. I'm happy that you are appreciating the session. If you have any questions, you can write them in the comment box and I would like to answer them. I'm so happy to read all the lovely praises that you all are putting in. Yes, there is this ninth intelligence, which is existential. Existential, the work is still on. So you see, that's the reason we don't talk about it now, because they have not yet verified that all our research done on it is correct. So till that is not happening, we do not talk about existential, which is actually, if you go to see, it is spiritual intelligence. It's about faith. Now, this is something very difficult, it takes time. So there are people who are working on it. So you're very correct. The ninth one, existential intelligence, the work is still on. I'm happy that you found the session very informative. I will request all of you today, when you go back, when you are after the session, spend some time.
Rajni ma'am, excuse
Yes,
me, ma'am. There are few questions asked, ma'am, in between. Can I read out the questions, ma'am?
I was reading them out.
Okay.
You can also read. Yes, you can tell me.
Uh, 1 second, ma'am.
I was reading them.
Yeah. Monica ma'am is asking if we have an autistic child in our class, how to engage the child using MIs with his or her peers.
See, autistic children, again, this is, something that you need a specialist to deal with. So once you are able to understand autistic child is good at this particular intelligence, then all the classroom activities revolve around those intelligence. So first is very important to observe the child to see which intelligence he or she is high on. So
Thank you for this.
intrapersonal intelligence, someone is asking me how to deal for EVS. So in any subject, intrapersonal means you are giving time to the children to do it themselves. They talk to themselves, they try to find out answers by themselves, and they come back, which means they are not talking to their friends. You're telling them this you have to do all by yourself. So it could be, you can give them some time. They can use the laptop or maybe go to the computer lab, explore, but they have to do it on their own. They should not be talking to the people around. And intrapersonal means it is your way of handling things, not something that I want to learn the way you are doing it. Everyone has their own way of handling problems, handling things, handling circumstances. So letting children do that something on their own is very important. So that's how intrapersonal intelligence in the classroom can be raised. When we don't give them these activities, then all the time they're doing what others are doing. So that is why, make sure that you give them time to do something on their own.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. There is one more question, ma'am, by Sunita, ma'am. How to use your method in class 10 SSC?
Class 10th SST, I
Yeah.
think not all topics you can use all the intelligences, but if you look at your topic and if you decide, now dates become very difficult to learn. So if you can ask children who are musical, who are linguistic, tell them to prepare a song where all these dates are taken care of, let the musician compose it well, and then let's play the song in the classroom. You will realize all the children have enjoyed the song and they've memorized the dates also. That's how you can use it.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. Gurpreet Kaur, ma'am, is asking how to determine predominant intelligence in a child.
How to determine that is observation. You have to see the actions will tell you. Asking too many questions, that means a leader. Wanting to answer everything, a leader. Interpersonal intelligence is high. So as teacher, it is very important that you observe. Your observation is very important. If you know all the eight intelligences, you understand these intelligences, you will be able to catch the signal. Someone who's sitting at the last bench and playing drums, oh, this child loves music. So what can I bring to the classroom so that his energy is settled? I start with some music, the child feels nice, feels settled, and then the focus for all the other subjects is in place. So, if you are able to start the day for that child as per his or her intelligence, you are doing wonders. So, you cannot do it every day. So, you can decide today it will be musical, tomorrow it will be intrapersonal, day after I will do interpersonal. So, it is for you to decide. But make sure that you work on all the eight intelligences. That's very important.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. Suma, ma'am, is asking, ma'am, different teachers teach different subjects. So, is it fine if I focus on certain intelligence?
uh, I would say that it will be very nice that the maths teacher decides, okay, I will be taking in this particular month interpersonal and intrapersonal. The science teacher will say, okay, since you're doing interpersonal and intrapersonal, I will take care of naturalistic and musical. So all subject teachers, yes, you can actually divide your intelligence and then, make sure that all the eight intelligences are brought. So that needs a good coordination amongst all the subject teachers.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. Lakshmi, ma'am, is asking, considering other intelligences, can we ignore writing if the child is not interested?
As I told you, you are not supposed to ignore anything. The minute you ignore, it becomes dormant. You only have to strengthen, nurture it. The child is not interested in writing, that means there is a problem. Find out what is the problem rather than ignoring it. Do not ignore anything. Find out the problem.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. One more question by S. Kulkarni. How do we make aware of IQ level for the parents of their ward for betterment of children? Can you please answer?
So I think IQ nowadays is only done for children who, you know, are differently abled. Nowadays, no one goes for IQ because it's not taken in good taste. Because then people start flaunting the IQ, which is not required. But if you want to take the IQ, you can take it. That's not an issue. But do not label the child, oh, this child's IQ is so high. We are not supposed to label children even with these intelligences. We should not be telling children, oh, you are musically high, oh, you are intrapersonally high. No, these intelligences are for us to understand that we have to nurture them. Do not label your child. You're causing damage if you're labeling your child. So use these intelligences as information, something that you have to work on so that your classroom children are nurtured well. So IQ is just a part of it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that reply, ma'am. Ma'am, Savita ma'am and few teachers, they're asking you to share that particular presentation, this thing, ma'am, slide of all the eight intelligence,
I
wherein
will
you,
do that.
yeah, wherein you broke down the examples. No, that would be really informative for them. It seems, ma'am.
So can I, Harsha, give it to you and then you can do it?
Ma'am, you can only just go back to the slides, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking about
I
this,
think the tenth one, ma'am. Uh, 10th slide, I think, ma'am.
this one.
Yes, ma'am.
So what do I do? How do I share it?
Uh, just do the this thing, ma'am. Slideshow. That's it. So that maybe they might take a screenshot or snapshot of it, and then we'll give them 1 or 2 minutes time.
It's there now.
Yeah, it is there, ma'am. Ma'am, Sukanti ma'am is asking, how do we engage a child who is not interested in reading and writing?
See, it clearly shows that the child who is not interested in reading and writing was not given the proper attention when it was needed. Had we done that, it would have been better. But now to pull his attention, you can start with storytelling. Pick up some attractive storybooks, show them pictures, talk about it, and then maybe just ask the child which character did you like, make him talk about the story. Later we can start, okay, what did you learn from the story? Who would like to talk about it? Okay, today I want you to write about it. So one day we talk, one day we write. So slowly you will find that the child is getting interested in reading also and in writing also. Storytelling plays a very, very important part. They are
Thank you
saying that
for
the
the
slide is not clear, though for me, I think
yeah.
it is quite clear, but I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I have asked them to change the resolution to 720 pixels on their mobiles, ma'am, or
Hmm,
maybe on the laptops.
correct.
So, what about SQ? One of teacher is asking, ma'am. Teachers is
Yeah, so
asking.
SQ, now there are EQ, emotional quotient, SQ is social quotient. So when you talk about EQ, emotional, you see your intrapersonal and interpersonal is EQ. When you talk about SQ, your interpersonal and intrapersonal decides your SQ, social quotient. If it is spiritual quotient, then it is the existential intelligence which is still being worked upon.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. I would like to thank Ms. Rajni Jawari for a very engaging and informative session for our community of teachers. I'm sure that our teachers have got a lot of takeaways from this interesting and informative and engaging session. Thank you so much, all the participants, for engaging with us today. To register for more such upcoming webinars, please visit my center. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you so